But here she comes, Winks. Happy Clapper tries. So does Ascadelia. But Winks has drawn clear in the Doncaster. He's 9 in a row. She breaks all the records today. She's a champion, Winks.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Worms Whispers Racing Podcast. Bendigo Mile Day and day one of the championships. As always, I'm joined by Matty. How are you, Matty?
Going well, Worm. How are you, mate?
Yep, going well. Winks, well, what more can you say?
I thought when I heard Happy Clapper, I thought we were in a different race.
Well, yeah.
Happy Clapper, a Doncaster winner as well.
Yeah, 2 years later, I believe.
Yeah. No, but how can you go past Winks? Absolutely beautiful.
No, great win, great horse, great story. This episode's proudly brought to you by Wishbet. If you're looking for a new bookie, please check them out at wishbet.com.au or download their app in your Apple or Android store. Matty and I both use them. So, punters, if you're looking for a new bookie, please check them out. Pineapple of the week last week. Yuck. Chassis, we knew our fate early. Just inside barrier, inside looked a touched off. Unfortunately, we ran a place, but definitely Black Book it, listeners, because it will be winning. Unfortunately, no result for James, but we move on to this week, and it goes to Matty, and our contestant is Phil. So good luck, Matty, and
All right,
good luck, Phil.
Come on. Need one.
Yeah, just one. Just a quick single off the mark. Zero from about 6, but we'll get one.
Well, I think before then we were about 4 from 6 before the subs jumped on board. So hopefully Phil can get us across the line.
Yeah, Phil will get the job done. Track stats. We're going to do Bendigo and Randwick. Bendigo, I'll be looking for runners up on pace as the last couple of years. It's been very advantaged to be up on the pace, very on the lead speed. So looking for leaders. And Randwick, lanes 2 to 7 when the rail is in the true is the place to be. It will be in the heavy range. Surprise, surprise. And it'd be definitely an act and watch, as the inside might chop out. It might not, but definitely watch and act. And Bendigo's a rail true as well, punters. Buying shares in or cashing out this week, Matty?
No, mate. No, not after we moved to Newcastle. Can't say I really found that too enjoyable, but hopefully we're back in Sydney this weekend. Who knows? We could be back underwater again. So who knows where they're racing on Monday, if at all.
Well, good point. You just never know. Yeah, I'll buy shares in Chassis, and we will watch and act on that. Cash out, nothing to cash out on. All right, Matty, we'll kick off race 7, Randwick.
All right, mate. Let's go. Have you got the odds there for us, please?
I do. Bit better prepared. Haitotsu is favourite at $3.60. 5, Regal Lion, $6. Forgot You, $8. Character, $9. Benno, $11. Allegron, $15. Castle Ray Kid, $18. And $20 the rest.
Very nice. A fair bit of value in this one, Worm. So talking points here, and it's going to be for the day, who handles the heavy. It is a very wide open race if you look past Haitotsu. If Haitotsu handles the heavy, well, it could win this one quite comfortably, but it is a big unknown, and currently, what's that, 350, 360 at the moment. It's a fair risk if you do like Haitotsu, not knowing whether it's going to handle the heavy 10. So within our betting strategy, which we'll get to a little bit later, we will be going with some value. We will be betting around Haitotsu. So if you like Haitotsu, feel free to fast forward to the next race. But for those who are after a little bit of value, we'll run through our top 4 selections. Can't go wrong. So, lightly raced 3-year-old colt. Ran into Alistair Clark, settled back, quite comfortable easy tempo within the race, but raced home exceptionally well. From this barrier, can't go wrong at the moment, barrier 6 pre-scratch-ins. It'll be allowed to sit midfield, so I think there'll be a bunch of them midfield here. Jamie Carr probably gave it the edge over a few others just to pop it into fourth selection here. Heavy track is a little bit of an unknown as well. So, look, I do think it's a chance and one that is in the mix. Selection number 3 now. I won't be betting, but Haitotsu does need to go in. And for me, I've got it ranked 3rd within this race. As I said, if it handles a heavy track, it could win quite comfortably. But the Australian Guineas over 1600, rails run, settled in 7th. And then really strong across the last 200. Obviously, the Vic Derby was way too strong. Went back and around some hills and just, again, exceptionally strong across that last 200 metres. So let's see if it handles the heavy track. In selection number 2, Regal Lion, New Zealand horse who came over, did race in Newcastle earlier this week in the character race. The extra distance will suit this down to the ground. It seemed to be ridden exceptionally hard in its last start in New Zealand. So I think J Mac being on board will be a huge advantage here and should get an absolutely peach of a run midfield. So I think Regal Lion is in for a very, very good run. But on top, one at value, War Eternal Worm. Its last start was in the Alistair Clark, where it did run 3rd to Predaturn. Now, don't know about you, but watching the replay of the Alistair Clark, it took forever to straighten up. So the larger track here will definitely help. 2,400 metres won't be a concern. Handles a heavy track, and D Lane on board is a big tick. Was on board in the Alistair Clark as well. So ticked a lot of boxes for me, and before going through the form, I wasn't expecting to land on it, but it definitely ticked a lot of boxes, and I wasn't expecting it to come up at $21. So, Worm, the betting strategy for this race. Now, there'll be a few that I didn't mention within my top 4, but on top we will be going War Eternal, and that will be at $25 each way, so we can get 21s and 6s. Regal Lion, we'll have $20 on it at $7. And then there's 3 horses we're going to have $10 on straight out for the win. Can't Go Wrong, Zoom On, and Footlights. Now, we've gone through Can't Go Wrong. Just quickly on Zoom On. Zoom On, earlier in its preparation, beat Benno over 1,900 metres on a heavy track. And I think here, from barrier number 5, it's going to map quite nicely. So I see it at odds at $51 being way overs. And then Footlights. Worm, this is one that I think you've been following for a while, but its last start at Ballarat in benchmark 64 on a heavy track definitely took my fancy. Have you been following this one too?
Yep, liked it for the Vic Derby last season. Don't know, it just didn't get there. I think it either did an injury or just they had enough with it. Yep, didn't realise it was in at Ballarat when it won, so that really hurt. But yeah, as you were saying, mate, its Ballarat win was. I thought it was better than what it reads. It did win by 2.5. I reckon it could have won by a lot more. Around the corner, it was, just coming around the corner, it was held up for, I reckon, 25 to 50 metres when having full momentum. And then that's where you just think horses don't pick up and go again. And the jockey sort of was just half riding him going, oh, we're not going to catch this leader. And then, oh, no, we're catching. And then one cracked the whip. He almost fell off. He was flying. But, when I saw that, I'm like, yep, that should be about 20s, and it's 50 to 1. And I'm like, no, that is definitely a 1 by 3 play by me. And then, when we were comparing notes, you've come up and Said, no, I'm going to have $10 play on it. Well, I reckon we're going to have another $10 on it.
Mate, we might just need to. But it was always nice when we both find one. Now, I think we'd both acknowledge if Haitotsu does win this race, we'll be losing. Now, I can't talk anyone out of backing Haitotsu, especially after its last start. But yeah, look at the price on a heavy track, I will be losing if Haitotsu wins. I do see a lot of value within this race outside of Haitotsu.
Yeah, just a couple of notes I made. Regal Lion, I was going to make this a real max bet from Monday because it looked like going through the gears and good prep run ready to go for this Saturday, and looked at the gear changes, synthetic hoof filler first time. No, but I'm definitely going to have something on because I'll kick myself if I don't. It's interesting. We've heard all week and weeks leading in, Haitotsu won't handle the heavy. So do they scratch? Do they go to the Queen Elizabeth next week? It's an option, but fair enough. I can hear them. They keep saying, doesn't handle the heavy, doesn't handle the heavy. It's out of Maurice. Yep, out of Japan. Sharp Response is out of the same thing. I know this is a stupid comparison, but Sharp Response is out of Maurice. It won very well on the heavy when it won on the heavy. So do Maurice handle it? Probably not, but if it gets out to say $6-7 Haitotsu, I will be having something on it to keep on side with my bet on Footlights and Regal Lion.
Very nice. Yes, as we mentioned, a bit of value outside of Haitotsu, but it wouldn't be surprised if it does drift a little bit. From a pure stats perspective, it is the horse in the race. Just a question mark over the track.
Yeah, 100% agree with all that value, mate. It's the right decision to make, and you will be walking away with a collect. Which one? I don't know. Hopefully War Eternal. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. Wishbet promo time. Wishbet promo time. AFL special here. $4 if you listen before Friday night game. $4 for Petrarca to kick 2 goals and Melbourne to win. That's a max bet of $50. Easy $200. I'm thinking looks good considering how good Melbourne going and how good the Petrarca's going. So $4. Get involved, punters. I will be. They're playing Essendon.
Wow. Just the 50, unfortunately. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and Essendon have dropped some key players.
Absolutely no-brainer.
Correct. All right, Bendigo, race 4. I'm going to preview this one. The odds courtesy of Wishbet, $3.80 Remark, $5 Scissor Step, $4.80 Duchess of Dorset, $7.50 Zorro's Dream, and $11 Gold Spark, and $18 the rest. The speed map, it's going to be a little bit of pressure up front, I believe. Titan Blinders from 3 should push forward. Fine Dane from barrier 8 should sit outside leader. Duchess of Dorset from 15, I reckon it could be 3 wide, no cover. They're going to be a winning chance. They're going to have to get out of that position, I reckon. Remark should be right behind leaders with Turbion. Gold Spark should be on the bum of Duchess of Dorset. And Simply Optimistic and Luana Magic. Just go through a couple of the key runners. Number 6, Oro's Dream. Been great preps so far. Good two-length win in Adelaide, won arrogantly. Then back to Flemington. Next start over the 1,000. Just couldn't get there in the last 50. Looked the winner. It had barrier 3. Was that on the wrong side of the straight? Probably. Might have won with the outside. Barrier 12 at Bendigo. Now, we know it's fate. It's going to be back near last. It's going to be 3 wide following a bum. But I'm just worried how far back it will actually get. Number 14, Duchess of Dorset. Big danger. Last prep, 0.75 away. 0.75 away from in the boat. That reads really good. It's 0.9 off It's Our Time, who was racing and off-peak racing and going well. And that was on Stakes Day, then bolted in on Ballarat Cup Day. Had 2 jump outs. Looks to have come back really well. Barrier 16, as I said, could be 3 wide, no cover. Sitting on pace, but it does have the talent to overcome this. My only worry is it might be set for a race at Warrnambool Carnival. Keep your eyes peeled, punters. So the two I have landed on, the main bet I want to have is Remark, number 7. Second up today, I'm not too keen on horses second up, but last start was on a heavy track. Clearly come to Vic to chase the good tracks. Will get that at Bendigo. This horse jumped out super in Sydney before its first up run. Last start, second up, was 1.6 behind Animo and made ground on it when you couldn't make ground on the day. Should get the perfect spot behind the leaders from barrier 7. Interesting, Ollie goes on board. Not much riding for the Hawks team, but Ollie goes on board, so you've definitely got to respect it. And when Ollie's on board, I like to be on. Does have 59 kilos as a 3-year-old in an open benchmark 84, but I think it looks a good bet. My saver bet is number 4, Simply Optimistic. I thought this horse was set for the bull when doing my notes on Wednesday Arvo, like number 14, Duchess of Dorset. When I did my early look and taking notes, but it had 2 jump outs for the latest one, tells me this horse is ready to rock and roll. Looking at its last prep, finished third in the Wongoom. 2.7 lengths on a day you couldn't make ground, and he somehow did find to make ground. It's been 2.7 off Mr. Albania, 2.25 off He's a Bolter, who went to Dubai and was really competitive. Got this mapped midfield, probably not the place you want to be, but if there's signs of making ground at $20, I reckon we can have a 1x3 play, and it will be giving us a yell to chase down Remark. So that's a main bet on Remark and a 1x3 bet on Simply Optimistic. Matty?
Very nice, Wilma. I don't know that. Now, has Ollie just gone up to Bendigo this weekend and just taken his pick in every race?
Yep. And
As you
especially on a
mentioned, doesn't
day...
ride very often for Hawks. So I think
No.
he's just gone up there and said, "These are the horses I want to ride. Go get them for me."
Yeah, 100%. And there's a little tip in this as well, especially this off-peak racing and with all there's some good jockeys going up to Sydney. Start looking at your best jockeys. They're the ones that are going to make the winning move. They're the one that are going to be riding the winners. There's a lot of lower end jockeys starting to find their way into the city now because we're out of our carnival. So Ollie riding at Bendigo. He rode at Mornington last week. Yeah, look for the big jockeys, guys. It's very
No, that's
easy
very
picking.
true. Very true. I think Mitsubishi have almost opened their doors back up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A bit like Perth doors. All right. Did you like anything in that, Matty?
Now, I was quite comfortable that you landed on Remark. I had that on top.
Beautiful. So yeah, keep an eye on the Wongoom in Carnival, guys. There's going to be a lot of horses going around now that are set for Warrnambool. So you just got to pick them apart. Simply Optimistic and Duchess of Dorset look the 2 for Warrnambool, but I reckon Simply Optimistic might be the one. If you want to be part of my subs, guys, it is going to be shutting off on Monday the 4th as we have just reopened for the new stint. My subs run for 3-month stints, and it's only for $50. Cheap as, probably the cheapest out there. We mainly bet in Victorian maidens and the odd Metro bet. You'll get an audio on my thoughts, but in the races we bet into, my likely speed maps, and any other runners in the race that are dangerous. Every Saturday, you'll get a race-by-race thoughts on the Metros via audio. And last week, we tipped Forever Free at 10s and Russo at 3s. And looking at Matty's face, he didn't have a cent on him. Currently, we are going 6 wins from our 8 last... Currently 6 wins from our last 8 bets. And our most recent win was Kyneton today, race 3. We backed the winner at $11 in the morning, closed at $6, won well. Subs loved it today. We won for the month of March, so bring on April, May, June. As I said, if you want to be part of me, DM me on Twitter, Insta, whatever you find me or follow me on, or there is my email in the description. And once again, looking at Matty's face, he didn't get on the Kyneton one again.
I can guarantee I didn't get on Kyden today. I did get on the ones last weekend though. So yes, it was enjoyable seeing all those WhatsApp messages come through after it got up.
Especially someone had the exacta going 37 times and it paid $18.
Yes, well, it's a
Not
happy
bad
Thursday
at
for
all.
some.
Yeah, for some, that's right, Matt. Race 9, Matty, you want to preview the Doncaster Mile?
Yeah, mate. We'll have a look at the Doncaster Mile. Really interesting race, but if you could let us know the odds, and we'll jump into it.
Yep, odds courtesy of Wishbet. $4.20 Forbidden Love, $5 I'm Thunderstruck, $9.50 Converge, $15 Ellsberg, $15 Mr. Brightside, $19 Private Eye, Lighthouse $17, Ice Bar $17, Banker's Choice. I did say Bankers at $17 and Just Folk at $20. Matty.
Very good, thank you, Worm. My main talking point in this one doesn't seem to be a whole lot of pace, which really surprised me as I went through it. Now, I see Ellsberg going to the front. Lighthouse, I think, needs to be positive from out wide with Damien Lane on board. Law of Indices will push forward with Forbidden Love. But outside of that, I don't really see too much pace in this race, which probably surprised me a little bit. Now, as we go through these, I think a couple of sound bites will be Forbidden Love. It'll look the winner at the 300 metre mark, but it will have a number of horses chopping at its toes. How much work will Lighthouse have to do from barrier 23? Now, there will be a few scratching, so it'll probably come in 3, but it'll still be the widest runner. So how much work does it need to do from out wide? And will On Thunderstruck get too far back, a little bit like what it did in the All-Star Mile? Hats off to Jamie Carr. Ozaki was just very positive from the outset in the All-Star, and On Thunderstruck, even though it was coming, just left it a little bit too late. So can we see the same thing happening here, or will it be able to get out a little bit earlier, sit a little bit closer from barrier number 8, and run over the top of a few of these? So we'll run through these, Worm, in my top 4 selection. So fourth I had Lighthouse, again from out wide. It's going to need to have a little bit of luck. It's going to need to jump well, and Damien Lane is going to need to be very positive. But its preparation has been sensational. The heavy track won't be an issue. So I think it's got the class to be right in the finish, as long as Damien Lane is positive at the barriers. One that really did pique my interest was Converge. Now, the last 3 starts, it's been battling out with Animo. So, look, there's no Animo in this field, but there's probably a couple that would match it in Forbidden Love and On Thunderstruck. But Converge has been very, very consistent. And what really appeals to me here is it's a featherweight. It's going to be running around at 50 kilos. If not, it's 49.5. So drop 6 kilos from when it's been battling it out with Animo. Heavy track won't be an issue. So Rachel King, I really do believe that from an inside gate number 3, it'll get a peach of a toe into this race. I don't see it being on the on the fence, which I do believe you need to be off. So the horses on its inside will probably push up as well, which will be a benefit for Rachel King. And I think she's got a really, really good chance of adding to her Group 1s here with Converge. Forbidden Love. Now, Forbidden Love I've got second, and it was a toss of a coin to whether I went Forbidden Love or On Thunderstruck. But Forbidden Love, off the back of another Group 1, it's had 5 wins on a heavy track. Jamie Carr on board. As I mentioned earlier, it'll look the winner at the 300 metre mark. It's just how these horses behind, like Conversion, On Thunderstruck, Lighthouse, how they go throughout the run, and how much work they really need to do. So can't talk anyone out of having a bet on Forbidden Love. And then we've got On Thunderstruck. So huge run in the All-Star Mile. Again, hats off to Jamie Carr, who was just a little bit more positive out of the gates on Zaki. Has won on soft, heavy. It has had one win on a heavy track, albeit it was at Sale, but it was quite comprehensive there. It will most likely have half the field in front of it, so it's going to need to have some luck around the bend, but I still feel that its turn of foot on this track, it should have enough. It should have enough straight to work with to be able to run down Forbidden Love. So, Worm, my on top selection is going to be on Thunderstruck. We're going to stick with it after the All Star Mile. Second, Forbidden Love. Third, Converge. And then fourth, Lighthouse. But from a betting point of view, I do like on Thunderstruck. Can't talk anyone out of Forbidden Love. And I'll also be having something on Converge. So they'll be the three that I'll be playing around with.
Nice. Forbidden Love. Can't believe it's still 50 kilos when its last two starts on heavy ground. It's won its two Group 1s. Gets Jamie Carr now. But what I did, my only knock is, and you're saying there's going to be a slow pace, and I respect that. Its 2 wins have been off slow tempos. If there is some pace in the race, can it run out a solid 1600? That is the question. But if it gets that soft tempo, geez, they won't be getting past it, I don't think. But the one I'm happy to be on, and again, I found one at odds, is number 17, Just Folk. Will sit handy. I liked its last win, cut the corner and just grinded away. Hasn't got a turn of foot. He just grinded away and he was bloody strong and he wouldn't let that second one get past him. And through the line, he looked strong as well. Won the Crystal Mile last prep on a soft 7. This is a heavy 10, no issue. Has had a jump out since and looks super behind Eduardo at 20s. I'm happy to have another 1x3 play on it.
That's completely fair. And it was Ellsberger that beat it last start, which is very, very good form. So I think Just Folk, yeah, look, it was definitely within my mix as well. And probably the other one that I would have really have liked to put in the numbers is Kissing All Four Cheeks. It obviously got scratched last weekend, didn't go to Newcastle. The big question mark for it is just around the heavy track, and for that very reason, I can't put in my numbers.
Yep, yeah, totally understand. And I might have something small on number 21, Banker's Choice, if it gets a run. I think it's an emergency at the moment. Just getting too far back in its runs, and it's got to make its move around the corner, and it's just dying on the run late. First up in Flemington was super. Second up, went to Sydney and just made its run around the corner instead of waiting for it to straighten. But if it can sit a bit closer, it might be one at $18. So there might be a few exotics you can play there, punters, courtesy of us. All right, guys, if you're listening to us via podcast platform or watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, receive our episodes as they drop, like our page, rate our page. Please share the episode with your friends or family. We'd love to grow this with other listeners. We really appreciate the regular listeners that keep tuning in, and with the feedback we're getting too, we really appreciate it. Around the grounds, I'll kick things off. Bendigo, race 5, number 1, No Effort. If the track plays how I feel it will and you need to be on the lead speed, this horse leads and it sets a solid / fast tempo, it could break their hearts. Okay, it's 1,400 at 6 starts for Duck Eggs, but that was early in its prep and its career when it was coming back from the rear of the field. Now, because they've found out it leads, well, it's a different horse. When this horse leads and sets a solid to fast tempo, it's hard to get past. At 40s, I'm happy to have another 1x3 play. Bo Merton's riding really well in the country scene, and I'm happy to be on him. That is No Effort, race 5, number 1. Matty, did you have one?
No, around the grounds, no. Wasn't a big fan of anything at Bendigo, and I think what we've got up at Sydney will do for now. So no around the grounds.
Okay, and I'll kick off again in the last at Bendigo, the Get Out Stakes. Everyone loves a bet in the last. And I think we can help you here, punters. Race 3, number 9, Corner Pocket. Won a listed race first up. Looked to come back better than last, perhaps. Second up was only 1.9 off Inspirational Girl, who's in the Doncaster. And second was Zaki, who's gone on to win the All-Star Mile. If that brings that form off a little break, it should be winning. We'll jump on the speed, might even lead, but happy to have it one out in my quads. Last leg of the multis. Sit and steer for Will Price. Just hold on, young fella. Matty, you liked something really small at odds here, didn't you? I'm not going to
I
let you
did.
get away with nothing.
I did, though. I'll be having something on Poland in that now. You backed it. Was it what was it, 2 starts ago it was racing in?
Oakley plate.
In the Oakley, yeah. Now, obviously, drops in class significantly. So I think it's they weren't bad runs the last 2 starts, and I think it's got a real live show in this. So I'll be having something small on Poland.
Yeah, nice. I like the horse, but I just worry where it's going to be. But at $9, he could be a saver for the punters if Corner Pocket doesn't turn up.
That's it.
Multi-time.
Just make sure you include it in your quaddy.
Yeah, no, very good point. Multi-time. I'm going to go Adelaide and Port Adelaide Friday night for the total score to be under 160 points. That's $1.90. Matty, you wanted Melbourne as $1.17.
Oh, I did, but let's read out the other one just to put that into some type of perspective.
Yeah, I'm just going in order, so then Corner Pocket's going to be the last leg.
Good.
And you're going to put in War Eternal, the place, $6.
Beautiful.
And Corner Pocket, $3.30. So that's Adelaide and Port Adelaide both to be under 160 points at $1.90. Melbourne at $1.17. War Eternal, the place at $6. Corner Pocket to round it out at $3.30. That's $44 for the 4-leg multi. Thank you to Wishbet. We move on to Pineapple of the Week. Filthy Phil, you're our contestant. Where are we going, Matty?
Well, just before we do that, our multi. Now, do we still win if you went unders, didn't you, with Adelaide, Port Adelaide? So if it's a 0-all draw, we still get up?
Yep.
Okay, that's all right. Just making sure. South Australian football not in a great place right now. Anyway, we'll move on to the pineapple. Mate, we are going to be going with one of the races we previewed up in Sydney. And it will be a little bit of value. We are going to be going with War Eternal. And as per my betting strategy, the pineapple will be split in half and we'll be going $25 each way.
Wow, I like it. Filthy Phil's going to have a nice fat account courtesy of Wishbet.
Yes, Wishbet, they'll need to work a little bit harder if this one gets up.
Like it very much. And my best bet is obviously Corner Pocket. That's the end of the show, guys. I really appreciate you all listening this week. Matty, I wish you all the best on the punt and more importantly, Carlton winning again.
Thank you, Worm. Giddy up. Go Beggars.
Yep, it'd be good if my side actually decided to have a win, but that's a different story. But no, thank you for listening, guys. I hope you have a fill up as much as we're going to have a fill up too. And we will see you next week for day 2 of the championships. Thank you, punters.